we need any new formulas. There are no more formulas to add to the list today. In fact, all the formulas we've been using are all we are going to need for today's learning target. Victory. Tongue-tied, to say the least. Okay, can someone remind me, what does the P in PEMDAS stand for? Okay, then before you break my heart and tell me this long way to handle the first thought learner question, did you first deal with your parentheses? Because there are terms you can combine inside your parentheses. So if your first thought was to distribute that 1/2 y squared to every piece, it's not a bad thought, but you're making your life complicated for no reason. You ought to first deal with the parentheses. When you deal with the parentheses, what did you get for the x's? 18x, and then what happened to the y's? They canceled out. So 1/2 times 18, you get 9. So my answer should be 9xy squared, which is A. If I had guessed, I probably wouldn't have guessed that. And then we go to number 2, and it's actually pretty easy today. Does anyone know the answer to number 2? Okay. I don't have to, I am going to work it out because that's what a good math student should do, but I don't have to work it out to get this one. Why? It does. Notice there's the -9 and the +9. So I feel like it was destiny. Most of the answers were positive. I saw the 9s repeat. Therefore, I knew the answer was D. Now, should I actually add these first? So 6 and the 7 would go together. So it's 1, 3, 7, 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0. So that ends up being 1,370,000,000, which is a huge number, hence the scientific notation. We need to think through how many times do we move our decimal place. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it actually is 9. But, again, my good guessing skills had me almost there to begin with. Are there any questions on that one? Then let's go to the notes. Good grief. Okay, today's notes are probably the most useful for real life, if we're going to make area useful for real life. It should be, but when you use it in real life, you'll never think like, oh, Miss Compton taught me that in geometry. I don't know why you won't make a connection. It'll be okay. I'll get over it, I guess. Most shapes in real life are not perfect. This room, for instance, is not a perfect rectangle. It's mostly a rectangle with a bit of an additional rectangle over that way. We need to take out the door, take out the windows. It's not a perfect shape. So that kind of irregular shape is called a composite figure. For instance, you might have, in our first example, an irregularly shaped pool. Can you tell me one shape you see inside that ugly looking thing? You see a rectangle. So let's deal with that rectangle. I'm going to color it pink.
Ms. Compton?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please send Alex Junior to Ms. Hayes' office?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay, so I need to know the area of that pink rectangle. What is the formula for the area of a rectangle? Okay, so base times height. I need to know my base. I need to know my height. The base is definitely 32. And the height is 16. So I need to know 32 times 16. Thank you, dear. So 512 feet squared. But again, all we found is that pink rectangle. There's more to that pool than just the pink rectangle. That's what. Very good. Graham wants to handle the circle next. I think it's a great idea. It's genius. Let's do it. Notice we have two half a circles, and like Grant was saying, if we could remove that rectangle, squish those two yellow half circles together, we'd have a whole circle. So what is the formula for the area of a circle? Okay, and then so the pi r squared, and then I need to know my radius. It is 8. So a radius would be half that diameter. Our diameter is 16, so half of 16 would be 8. Again, it's ridiculously hard to read these dark notes today, but it will be okay. So 8 squared. So I need to know what 64 pi is. I need a decimal for that. You're going to be proud of me. I'm just going to say 201 today. I'm getting lazier. 202, you think? Okay. Okay. Okay, so far we handled that pink rectangle. Grant helped us decide to handle that entire yellow circle. Am I done? No. What's left? I gotta handle the triangle. I'm gonna color him green. What is the formula for the area of a triangle? Okay. She does base times height divided by 2. I'm a 1/2 base times height person. Doesn't matter. Gets you the same answer. I need a number for the base. That would be the height. Yes, dear. The base would be 15. The height would be 32. And so a lot of people miss, if I were to pull out that 11, let me do that and show you that, because most people miss that anyway. That'd be a good idea. The height is 32. The base is 15. You need to find that right angle to figure out your base. Most people missed the base and the height of this triangle on number 1 on the quiz, which is how most people have made a mistake on number 1. In fact, there was not a soul in first period who had the correct area. I'm betting there's someone in second period who did. But again, I'm still so depressed over how awful they look. I'm going to have to work up some nerve. Yeah, I just graded first. I just can't. My heart's not in it yet. 1/2 15 times 32. Okay, so we have the area of our pink rectangle, the area of our yellow circle, the area of our green triangle. When we add all those together, we'll get the area of our pool. So I need to add 512, 201, and 240. 953 feet squared. Perfect. That is the area of our irregularly shaped pool. That's all you have to do. That's why it's called composite figures, because we're putting other shapes together.
What happens if you have half a circle?
Great question. It's like you're already looking at the spaceship on number 2. I think it looks like a spaceship. So now we're on number 2, and it says some figure, and I think it looks like a spaceship or some sort of rocket that NASA would launch. I just do. Okay, so let's start with what Grant's saying. Just go straight for the big action. I want to find the area. My yellow is just not working. I want to find the area of this pink half a circle. Do we know a formula for a half a circle? No. Do we know a formula for a whole circle? So why don't we take our circle formula and divide it by 2? So I'm going to do 1/2 of pi r squared. Because pi r squared gives you the whole circle. You need half of this at that, because you have a semicircle. You would need half of your formula. Yeah, it still solves the same. I still need to know the radius, so I need to know a number to put from here to here. 9, because the entire diameter is 18, so half that would be 9. So I need to know 1/2 of 81 pi, but again, if you want to type that entire line in your calculator just like that, you'll still get the right decimal. Point 3 or 2? Okay. So we saw how we solved the half circle, and I've got to get a different highlighter. We saw how we solved a half circle, and now we get into the debating line.
Two small cycles for one big triangle.
That's how I did it.
I say make it a big triangle.
So what I would do next is I see what Grant sees. I see a rectangle, and I see two small triangles. Does someone see a different shape? It's a trapezoid. So me and Grant are taking a lot of time to do a lot of extra work because I do two triangles and a rectangle, and I could just do one formula for the trapezoid. So let's just do the one formula for the giant trapezoid. That would be the easiest thing to do. But if Grant wants to, because he sees the he sees the rectangle and the two triangles, he's still going to end up getting the right answer. But I know second period's smart enough to handle this, so. Lazy, but smart. Y'all are, but it's okay. What's the formula for a trapezoid? Okay, so I know my height. What number should I put for my height? It is 8. That dotted line would be 8. So if I were to draw me a picture to the side to help those who are, we know this would be 8. One of the bases is 18, yes. Because 9 plus 9 is 18. One of the bases is 18.
28.
Okay, and then the other would be 18 plus 5 plus 5. So that's how we're getting 28, because 18 plus 10 is 28. Is there anyone who's concerned about how we got those numbers, the 8, 18, and the 28? Again, if for some reason Tori doesn't like that, and she just has never liked the trapezoid formula, she could do the area of the rectangle and then the area of the triangles. She's still going to end up at the same answer. Okay, when you type this in, what do you end up getting?
184.
Okay, so 184 feet squared. So to find the total area of what I think is a spaceship, we would need to add the 127.2 plus the 184, and what did you get? 311.2 feet squared. Perfect. Hey Nick, do you have your worksheet from yesterday?
The one that you get for home.
Oh, can I see it? I want to look at the other side. Okay, I'm going to let you go ahead and try number 3 on your own or with your group. You should get 626.7 centimeters squared. I'll go over it in just a second if you don't.
When's that worksheet doing?
Thursday.
Is that coffee good? What kind of coffee is
Pumpkin spice because I was out of regular. It was very, I was not very happy with that. I really wanted a regular. Because I keep forgetting to bring it to school.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna bring you some coffee, bro. What kind of
Mostly what you stop calling me bro and dude.
Miss Conklin, what kind of coffee do you like? My friend.
Anything coffee related, I really like caramel frappuccinos.
Without the oil.
Yes, it's called caramel light. Okay, I want to go over this and move on so we can move on with our lives. I see a circle. So for the circle, I'm going to use pi r squared. What is the radius of my circle? Okay, perfect. So you need to plug in 7.5 squared. What did you get for the circle only? Thank you, dear. And then we have to find the area of our rectangle. what's the formula for the rectangle? Base times height. My base is 30. What is my height? So you got 450. So the entire area of this figure is going to be those two numbers added together. 176.7 plus 450 is 626.7 centimeters squared. Okay, so far so good. This seems pretty easy. However, you've not looked at your worksheet, and sadly I'm mean. I didn't mean to be mean, it just happened. So we're going to do 2 more problems on our notes. Don't go ahead and put the notes away. But I want to show you. So there is some that look like the spaceships, like 7 and 8 to me look like spaceships. But we also need to discuss one like number 1, and we're going to discuss one like number 3. Notice 3 and 5 look especially hard. We've not done an example like 3 and 5. We're going to do one that's way easier on the back. What's different about 3 and 5?
Can you use number 5 and make it like a whole circle?
Yes. Let's go with her rant and then come back to you. It's cut out. Notice on number 3 it was a rectangle, but we've cut out this semicircle. So you would find the area of the rectangle, find the area of the semicircle, and subtract the area of the semicircle. It makes sense. I find the area of the rectangle and subtract out the white thing. And then number 5, I'm going to make a note and a hint on Nick's paper that you probably want to make on your own, which is what Grant was noticing. Notice if you cut off the darker half circle, the semicircle, if you stuck it where that semicircle is missing, what shape would you have? A square. It'd be a 20 by 20, so it'd be a square. So on number 5, I'd make myself a note that says square. Because really, by the time, if you bothered to calculate the area of the square, calculate the area of the semicircle, and then subtract out the missing semicircle, really all you've done is calculate the area of a square. So I'm just going to save you some work. Just find the area of the square. Okay, so what Grant would really like me to work is notice that 1, 2, and 6 have some congruent symbols and such on it that we need to look at. So let's look at our top example on the back. What kind of shape is this? It's a square. What is the formula for the area of a square? I'm telling you, there was a person who skipped the problem entirely on the test. Like, I'm not doing that. What? Okay. Base times height. And it's not the same girl who did all the area formulas twice. I don't know. So 22 times 22. What do you end up getting? For what? 484 centimeters squared. Okay, so we found the area of that square. And now we've got to deal with this triangle. What's the formula for a triangle? I need to know how long my base is. Are there any questions about why the base is 22? And I need to know what number to put on my height. And Toby says 20. How did he come up with 20? 42 minus 22 is 20. We need from here to here was 22. Here to here is 20. The whole thing's 42. 22 and 20 add up to 42. Okay, so I need to type that in my calculator and get a number. So the area for the entire shape would be 484 plus 220, which is, isn't it 704?
Yeah.
You're allowed. Okay, so there are some like this that require you to use your brain. The fact that they gave you the whole length, you might have to think what piece is missing. You're very confident you can do that. The last one we're going to work is number 5, and it's probably the most realistic one of them all. Yes, dear?
Did you just find like the area of the non-shaded and then make it multiply by 2 to make it
We don't know like a scale factor, or else that'd be a good idea. What I'm going to do is find the area of the shaded and subtract out the area of the non-shaded. It's not a bad idea. Okay, so we get to number 5, and this is what happens in real life. So, well, not really. What actually happens? So Sydney wants to paint this room, because this is her house now. She lives here. It's sad, we know. So Sydney wants to paint this room. She's going to the store to buy paint. When she figures out how much area is on the square walls, she has to subtract out some things. What might she have to subtract out? Windows. What else do we have in here? Doors. And then notice, she's probably going to be a good enough person to pull out the filing cabinets and paint behind them, but you'd be surprised if it was a man doing it, he probably wouldn't. No, because I know, I just went straight there. So maybe you would. You're pretty OCD, you would. But so, you know, is she going to actually pull out the bookshelf and paint behind it? How serious is she about painting? Would she bother to take down the air conditioning units? There are a lot of things she might want to find the area of and subtract out. Now, in real life, is Sydney going to sit there with her calculator, calculate the area of the walls, so she can figure out how much paint she needs to buy for the square feet, subtract out the windows? No. Why is that not what you do in real life? Well, it is a lot of work. Oh my gosh, Sydney is living at school. She does not have people to do it for her. It's already a sad situation. Why is Sydney not going to actually crunch out these numbers? You just estimate. Why do you estimate? Why do you estimate? What happens when you paint? What happens when you paint? Y'all are perfect. You don't spill any of it. I make a mess. I might spill some of it. I might need to put on a second coat. There's a lot that goes into painting that, because you know I'm kind of clumsy. More than likely, I'm going to spill some of this somewhere. So being exact and saying I need exactly 1 gallon or else, it's not going to work for me. I got to have a little room to spare. Okay, so I get that when Sydney goes to the store and buys paint, she's not going to consider this conversation. But maybe she'll consider this when she's considering a rug for a room. Like, is this rug going to be too big for the room, too small for the room, etc. Maybe then. Otherwise, I can see why this one's a little bit of a stretch. Okay, I'm going to find the area of the entire shaded rectangle. And I'm also going to find the area of the white rectangle. They're both going to need the formula base times height. One of them is really easy to find. What is the base of the rectangle of like the rug? What is the base of the clear shape? It is 100. What is the height of the white shape? Thank you. Not friend. We have not reached friendship. Okay, 100 times 200 is... It's not 200? Oh my gosh. 100 times 200 is 2,000. Oh gosh. Okay, is that what I said? Okay, that makes me feel better that I said it wrong and y'all weren't just being blind. That makes me feel better. Okay, whew. Okay, everyone's cool with the 100 and the 20? Okay. Okay, good luck with that. Okay, so we found the area of the rug that we're going to subtract out, or whatever this white shape is that we're going to subtract out. We need to find the area of the entire dark shape. So what is the base and what is the height of that entire shape? It is 150 for the base because you do 25 plus 100 plus 25. And 25 plus 100 plus 25 is 150. Just because y'all see it doesn't mean everyone else does. And then for the height, you would do 70 because 25 plus 20 plus 25, and you would get 70. And you would get 70. So 150 times 70, you get... Yeah. It's 10,500. I don't know what that's doing, but yeah. Which is ridiculous because that's a lot of square feet. It's a bit ridiculous. So instead of adding the way we have been on our other examples, since we want to take out that rug or not consider that area when we go to buy our paint or whatever, we need to subtract it. So 10,500 minus 2,000, our final answer would be 8,500 square feet. Now, of course, Miss Compton picked a nice example for hers. Yes, it's always feet squared. If you don't know the units, don't write any units. Notice poor Nick has to find the area instead of something square. His is it's a rectangle with circles on it. So he's going to have to find the area of the clear one and the area of the darker one and subtract it out. So his is harder. Okay, are there any questions about this? Then you need to get to work on your mini worksheets. I'm actually about to post the key to the 11-4 if you're wanting to check your numbers, which